assurances have to work the other way, too. Remember, when you get married, both sides make promises. Both sides are in it. And so that's where the predictability comes in. That's where the trust is essential. And that's why President Bush in 2003 spoke out, because he felt that trust was being tested. Both sides offer assurances. Tsai Ing-wen, as a candidate and now as president, she's offered a variety of assurances to both the United States, but also to Beijing. Beijing has chosen not to be moved by those assurances. She's emphasized that she's the president of the Republic of China and will follow the Republic of China Constitution. Beijing's not moved. How about the US? One of the major initiatives of the Obama administration was the so-called, what was originally called the pivot, and what was later called the rebalancing. President Obama wanted to move away from our commitment to wars in the Middle East and in Central Asia, and to put the bulk of American economic, diplomatic, military resources towards Asia. That's where most of the people are, that's where most of our economic interests lie. He wanted to rebalance. His Secretary of State at that time, of course, was Hillary Clinton. Sorry. And so they pushed this. They never were able to extract themselves from the wars. They weren't able to deliver as much as they had hoped. On the economic front, first on the security front, the first problem was what? Territorial disputes. And so what is this? What's in this picture? Yeah. These are Chinese tourists visiting Vietnam, all wearing the same t-shirt. And what's on that t-shirt? Okay, the 9-dash line, including most of the South China Sea, including portions of the South China Sea that the government of Vietnam claims. That's a pretty bold move. And they had to take the t-shirts off before Vietnamese immigration let them enter the country. But if you have a map of China, if you print a map of China, you're supposed to print that map. If you don't print that map, it's against the law. I remember the day this happened, and suddenly on the evening news, they included these microscopic points in the South China Sea. It's in the mainland Chinese passport, and you'll see it comes up again and again. Now, one of the issues that has been in the news lately is American ships, American naval vessels, transiting the Taiwan Strait. And this is not as noteworthy as some people think. In part because if you look at this chart that was just published in The Economist magazine, we see, in fact, fewer American ships have been going in the Taiwan Strait than under the Bush administration or the Obama administration. And so, in fact, the Trump administration on this has not been pushing the envelope. In fact, has been moving away from being as forceful as their predecessors. Now, the big American initiative on the rebalance economic initiative was to be the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And what does the sign say? TPP, made in America. Well, this was an American product that the American government didn't buy, right? Because although it was going to open many markets to American companies, specifically places like Vietnam and some others that were not as open as others, what happened? What happened? As not quite his first maneuver, but one of his very first actions, President Trump delivered on a promise. He said that he would withdraw from it, and he did. And he did. That was January 2017. Now, if you're following Donald Trump on Twitter, which of course his cabinet secretaries have to do to find out if they're still employed, you know that yesterday President Trump basically said he's not happy with the U.S.-China trade relationship, that these negotiations are not going the way he expected. He said that he felt what? He felt betrayed. President Xi said in this tweet, according to President Trump, that China would block the export of this dangerous opioid, fentanyl, to the United States. But it's still going on. But the bigger issue was that he expected China to buy a bunch of agricultural products, keep American farmers fully employed. And the president feels they haven't been buying enough fast enough. So, 1 month from the day he sent this tweet, he says, we're going to put small additional tariff of 10%. Remember, he had originally threatened 25%, so 10% is less than 25. But on all other products, even iPhones, from China. So the relationship is a complicated one. Now, of course, TPP didn't include China. And in fact, it was the Obama administration's effort to take leadership in Asia, to set standards for labor and for environmental concerns. President Trump prefers to go it alone. He prefers bilateral negotiations. He doesn't trust multilateral organizations. Now, who is going to be elected? We heard about these big elections coming in January of 2020. We've heard about the big election in the United States in November of 2020. Who is going to be elected? We've got a vote in the back. I'm here to tell you I do not know. I do not know. I'm a historian. I can talk forever about the past. Not too good on the future. But let me share with you something that the past has taught me. Being in the office is a powerful thing. Incumbents mostly win.